Alright, Wing 5, Soulless Horror. After about, probably took us about an hour and a half to get this kill. I am super rusty on pushing, and we have only 4 people have ever done this before. The other 6, I believe, something like that number, were brand new. And for doing an hour and a half, I think it was amazing. Both our tanks, this is their first time tanking. Great job, you guys, and to everybody else. And to those that helped me down the Tormented Deads after pushing. So I'm going to call out the mechanics as we go. So this is a dual tank thing. Tanks need to choose who's the tank. Person with a fixate is a tank, so it's not toughness based, but we could have toughness. This attack right there, you dodge into her just as that orange circle fills. Otherwise you get zapped by the other one. And the real boss is the RNG with these flame walls. If they touch you, you're dead. You could port to the side of them in emergency, but it's risky, so best to just not be there at all. So the tank's job is to move the boss, obviously, and every so often see the edge of the arena, the ring drops off. She also does the AoE. It's easy, and it's going to rotate 90 degrees. You're just going to stand between the AoEs there. Okay, you see a wall there. And you see these flesh worms, you can pretty much ignore them and just cleave them as you go near them, because these are so easy to out-heal. So there's where you want to kind of just stay on boss. So when the Tormented Deads come out, and the other part that took us so long is, okay, ready, dodge towards her but not into a wall, you see that, is the Tormented Deads. If they get CC'd, it messes with me trying to push them. I'm using the Druid build, and see he already got CC'd, that kind of messes it up, so I'm going to push, and second shot, and then we're going to gun him down. Good, then you can see him on the edge. That was good. Pushing, usually want to get them a little bit further off, but for us this was actually pretty good, and with more practice and coordination I think we'd be fine. Those of you that are experienced, remember the days when, there goes another edge of the arena, watch out, remember the days when you could use Epidemic. Okay, here comes CC. If you don't CC her in time, you get feared off the edge, and this can be challenging too during CC phase as the Tormented Dead comes onto the boss. And the Tormented Dead, also known as TDs, when the TDs, we're going to get to the edge, this is one of the larger walls. The TD will always aggro and try to follow the, okay, dodge towards her, not off the edge, will try to follow the off tank, the person that's not actively tanking. Because remember, this is a 2-tank unit. This is not a CC, it's every second 8 directional AoE. That was a good push and good kill. It's every other 8 sectional pie slice AoE that the CC comes up. So next time we see one, so you can do 4 and 4. 4. Good. And there's A. Here comes the CC. Just stand in the middle. You don't take any damage. CC quickly. Great job, the CCs. Okay, Tormented Dead should be coming up soon. There it is. Dodge towards it. See, you got CC'd there, so I couldn't push him the first time. So now we gotta get out of there, and not much the second time. So that's kind of what happens. So when you're playing this, watch your CCs, especially if you are running Spectre. Skill 3 and 5 in Shroud is going to make your group hate you. I know a lot of people that won't even allow someone to run Spectre on this because people have a hard time watching that because you're just blindly rotating. So keep an eye on that. That was another good push. Thank you guys for helping that be successful. Yeah, back in the days with Necro Epi, you just push them and you die by the time you got pushed out. So the idea with the TDs is to be closer to the edge and push them so they die off the edge. That's kind of close, but we got them in the same spot. It's also CC time. My CCs weren't very good because I'm using that stuff on the TD. And there are other professions I'm pretty sure you can push with. It's been a while since I've done these. I think you can probably push with, I know people do an engineer, mechanist. See, right off, edge breaks down. That's not on there. So good. We're going to finish with 6 people still up, I think, which I think was still pretty good. But very pleased, impressed, and proud of my group. Everybody did well and worked well together. Especially see how we were teaming up on the Tormented Deads because I'm playing a Druid healer. Don't have a lot of DPS, so I can't actually DPS them down. Next time I come around, I'm going to probably check out other push builds. These guys did a much better job of not CCing as well. Look at that. Good job, you guys. Very excited how you helped me with this pushing. And the tanks, amazing job, you guys. And everybody, really. Just a great job overall. I always love when you do a training and people get it, especially doing new roles, and you have mostly new people. I don't know if anybody's saying in the comments, but who remembers the days when you spend weeks at a time, 2 hours per session, and you still couldn't get this win on the fight? Granted, Embolden does make it easier, but this is really about the mechanics driven bit, because when you get to more experienced groups, higher DPS, you just tend to skip mechanics. Okay, we're going to back away from there because he's blowing up. And the idea too is we did move the boss a lot. I know that in theory you want to try to move the boss as little as possible because you waste DPS and you have to fool with more mechanics. But I'm still very pleased with our work on this one. Okay. Here's the CC. That was a close one, worked out perfect. We're just on the outer edge of that ring. And if that ring is important. If you fall in that ring, dodge towards it. Remember, that's a circle. It gives you boatloads of Condi and damage, and it's just awful. So if you find yourself having to get through it, try to dodge, double dodge, spam that dodge. Okay, you got CC'd for the second shot, so we're gonna beat tail out of there. That's why we're running. Luckily, that's not the real CC. But for our run, that was the only one that's in the middle of the platform. That was very, very good. Just very pleased with our performance. Oh, okay, there's two. Sorry, forgot about that one. Alright, now we're just going to finish the boss off. There's that last CC bar, but she ends up taking damage before we need to break it. Nice work, everyone. Alright, next up we're going to do River of Souls, escorting Desmina. These guys did great here as well. So I'm going to stay in the back row, me and one other person that hadn't done it before. We don't have a super speed scrappers, which you want to use. It makes it go faster. But as you can see, we can do this without it, and we can even solo. I realized halfway up I forgot to change one of my skills. So real quick, lead group just runs ahead. They take damage on the River of Souls. So you usually have an extra healer or two. And as they go, these big blue guys are going to stand up ahead of them. They need to DPS them down and keep moving up till they get to the top. Pretty basic. And you see them taking damage. We don't take damage here because under that shield, Desmina protects you from damage. But here are the mechanics. Every so often, you get that orange AoE that formed underneath you if you're the player that gets it. And you can solo this on Guardian. I've done it many times. Just drop it to the back there. And the more people you keep back here, the more it spawns those little skeletons you're going to see in a little bit. And so you drop that in the back for two reasons. One, you don't get Desmina, and you don't get your ally caught in that explosion because it stuns you for like 2 to 3 seconds, and you can slide off the river. These guys right here, that expanding orange AoE, they will damage a lot. They'll do a lot of damage to Desmina. She can be healed, but best if you don't have to. So you usually have a Guardian here because they can give you some Aegis, which blocks their attacks. So talking about my skills, I like to use, I forgot to even swap my weapon set because I have the shield on the other one, which gives you the Aegis. But anyway, I'll use Tome 3, just opening it gives you Aegis, and then Tome 3-5 also gives you Aegis, so there's some there. Using Advance, that gives you quickness and Aegis, so I use that as well. And I like to keep the Glyph of Healing Elite skill on. And right here, Merciful Interventions, yeah, it saved me right there. I ported through the firewall or over it to get to the boss. I use that because it helps me get to the boss. And see how I stunned my guy there? That was awful of me. I use it to get to the boss if I get stuck in an area where I'm falling off or going to die. It's really a lifesaver, and it heals her to boot. So you see all these skeletons coming out now? That's where we drop if we can, and it damages and destroys them. You can also use lines of warding and stuff to slow them down. And the river, if you fall off the edge, you die. Also, if you hit the walls, you die. But on this particular River of Souls, if you die, instead of going to a down state, you turn to a purple ball. and when you turn to purple ball, you can see other purple balls floating up the river. In that form, you can move, and if you grab 5 purple orbs, you return to your body. And for this run, we only had a couple hours, so we only got through Desmina and River of Souls, but again, great job for everybody. Okay, watch me hit these skeletons. So yeah, it kills them. So that's important. And then periodically too, you have these rifts that open. They suck you towards the sides of the river, so you want to watch out for that. We'll see them over there on the left. That is actually pulling on us. And we're almost to the top. So all those big blue guys are called enervators. Just remembered their name. And I'm trying to give Desmina swiftness, but yeah, super speed scrapper is money for this because it makes it go faster. But that is it. Rivers of Souls is pretty easy. These guys did it no problem with the healers on the lead group, and then the rear group, me and my buddy also did it no problem. So that was a fun run. It's very long. I was so glad. At one point we're talking about maybe doing like a Karen just so they could get a kill, but we tried a couple more pulls and had that last pull magic that you saw, and I just glad we stuck with it and just really appreciate everybody that came. So thank you for coming, peeps. Awesome job, and thank you for watching. Hope this is helpful and entertaining, and hope you have a most excellent day.